It's time to focus on you, not tomorrow, not someday, but right now. For too long, you've been giving your energy to things that don't serve your growth, chasing approval, worrying about opinions, and delaying your own potential. But the truth is, your life changes the moment you decide that you matter. When you start prioritizing your goals, your peace, and your future, everything begins to shift. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean you become selfish. It means you become stronger, clearer, and more in control of your direction. You begin to understand your worth, set boundaries, and invest your time where it truly counts. This is your moment to rebuild, to realign, and to rise above distractions. Every successful person reached a point where they chose themselves over excuses. Now it's your turn. Block out the noise, silence the doubts, and take action toward the life you deserve. Because at the end of the day, the most important investment you will ever make is in yourself. The moment you truly decide to focus on yourself, you step into a different version of life, one where your time becomes valuable, your energy becomes protected, and your vision becomes clear. You stop wasting days scrolling, comparing, and overthinking, and instead you start building, learning, and improving. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you become intentional, when you wake up with purpose, when you discipline your mind, and when you push yourself even on the days you don't feel like it. That's where real transformation begins. It's not always easy, and it's definitely not comfortable, but it's worth it. Because every small step you take towards self-improvement compounds into something powerful over time. There will be moments when people don't understand your change. Some may question you, albadu kadyaptaradu, and some may even doubt you, but that's part of the process. Not everyone is meant to grow with you. When you focus on yourself, you naturally outgrow certain environments, habits, and even relationships. And that's okay. You're not here to stay the same, you're here to evolve. Protect your peace. Guard your mindset. Choose progress over comfort, even when it feels lonely. Because the version of you that you're becoming requires sacrifices that the old you would never understand. And remember this, no one is coming to save you. No perfect moment is waiting. No magical opportunity will suddenly appear if you keep standing still. You have to create it. You have to show up every single day and put in the work, even when no one is watching, even when results are slow. Because discipline builds confidence, and confidence builds unstoppable momentum. The more you invest in yourself, the more you realize your true power. So stop doubting, stop delaying, and start becoming. This is your time. This is your journey. And the best decision you can ever make is to focus on you. You've spent enough time waiting for the right moment. But the truth is, the right moment is something you create, not something you find. Every day you delay focusing on yourself is a day your potential remains untapped. Think about where you could be if you had started 6 months ago, a year ago, but don't let that thought discourage you. Let it fuel you, because the same power you had back then you still have right now. The difference is awareness. Now you see it. Now you feel it. Now you understand that your life won't change until you do. And that realization alone is powerful enough to transform everything, if you act on it. Focusing on yourself begins with clarity. You have to know what you want, or at least be willing to figure it out. Too many people drift through life without direction, reacting to circumstances instead of shaping them. But you are not here to drift. You are here to design your path. Ask yourself the hard questions. What kind of life do you truly want? What kind of person do you need to become to achieve it? And most importantly, what habits are holding you back right now? Because success is not built on big moments. It's built on daily actions. It's built on what you do when no one is watching, when motivation fades, and when excuses feel easier than effort. The hardest part about focusing on yourself is not the work. It's the discipline to stay consistent. Anyone can feel motivated for a day or two, but very few can keep going when things get boring, repetitive, or difficult. That's where the separation happens. That's where average ends and excellence begins. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep. It's working on your goals when distractions call your name. It's saying no to things that don't align with your future. And every time you choose discipline, you strengthen your identity. You become someone who follows through, someone who doesn't quit, But focusing on yourself also means facing yourself, and that's something many people avoid. It means acknowledging your weaknesses, your fears, and your past mistakes without running from them. It means taking full responsibility for your life without blaming others or circumstances. This is not easy. In fact, it can be uncomfortable and even painful at times. But growth lives on the other side of discomfort. The moment you stop avoiding your truth is the moment you start unlocking your potential. Because you can't fix what you refuse to face. As you continue this journey, you'll notice something interesting. Your standards will rise. The things you once tolerated will no longer feel acceptable. The habits that once controlled you will start losing their power. And the people who don't respect your growth will naturally drift away. This is not something to fear, it's something to embrace. Because when you elevate your standards, you elevate your life. You begin to attract better opportunities, better environments, and better versions of yourself. It's a natural process of alignment. There will be days when progress feels invisible. Days when you question whether your efforts are even making a difference. This is where patience becomes your greatest weapon. Success is not instant. Growth is not always visible. But just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. Every hour you invest in yourself, every skill you build, every habit you strengthen, it's all adding up. Like drops of water filling a bucket, eventually it overflows. And when it does, the results will speak louder than anything you could have imagined. One of the most important aspects of focusing on yourself is protecting your mental space. Your mind is where everything begins. Your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your reality. If your mind is filled with negativity, doubt, and distractions, your life will reflect that. But if you train your mind to focus on growth, possibility, and purpose, everything changes. Be mindful of what you consume. The content you watch, the conversations you engage in, the people you surround yourself with, it all matters. Feed your mind with things that inspire you, challenge you, and push you forward. Another key element is self-respect. When you focus on yourself, you start treating yourself differently. You stop settling for less than you deserve. You stop engaging in behaviors that harm your future. You begin to value your time, your energy, and your goals. Self-respect is not about arrogance. It's about knowing your worth and acting accordingly. It's about making choices that align with the person you want to become, even when it's difficult. Because at the end of the day, the way you treat yourself sets the standard for how others treat you. And let's talk about fear, because fear will show up on this journey. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping into the unknown. But here's the truth. Fear is not a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're stepping outside your comfort zone. And that's exactly where growth happens. Every successful person you admire has faced fear. The difference is they didn't let it control them. They moved forward despite it. And you can do the same. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to act anyway. As you keep going, you'll start building confidence, not from external validation, but from your own actions. Confidence is built through proof. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you push through resistance, every time you choose growth over comfort, you prove to yourself that you are capable. And that feeling is powerful. Because once you trust yourself, nothing can shake you. You no longer need approval from others, because you know who you are and what you're capable of. Focusing on yourself also means learning continuously. The world is constantly evolving, and if you want to stay ahead, you have to keep growing. Read books, learn new skills, seek knowledge, and stay curious. Don't limit yourself to what you already know. The more you learn, the more opportunities you create for yourself. Knowledge is not just power, it's freedom. It gives you options. It opens doors. And it allows you to shape your future in ways you never thought possible. But don't forget to take care of your physical health as well. Your body is the foundation that supports everything you do. When you feel strong, energized, and healthy, you perform better in every area of life. Exercise, eat well, rest properly. These are not luxuries, they are necessities. When you take care of your body, you send a message to yourself that you matter. And that mindset carries into everything else you do. There will be times when you feel alone on this journey, when it seems like no one understands your vision or supports your goals. But remember this, you don't need everyone to understand. You just need to stay committed to your path. The most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. Learn to enjoy your own company. Learn to trust your own decisions. Learn to stand on your own, even when no one else is there. Because independence is strength. And as you grow, don't forget to reflect. Take time to look back at how far you've come. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small it may seem. Because every step forward is a victory. Reflection keeps you grounded. It reminds you of your journey. And it gives you the motivation to keep going. Too many people focus only on what's ahead and forget to appreciate what they've already achieved. At some point, you'll realize that focusing on yourself is not a phase, it's a lifestyle. It becomes part of who you are. You no longer need to force it because it's natural. You wake up with purpose. You move with intention. You live with clarity. And that's when everything changes. Because when you are aligned with your goals, your values, and your vision, life becomes more meaningful, more fulfilling, more powerful. So if you're still waiting for a sign, this is it. If you're still looking for permission, you don't need it. If you're still doubting yourself, let that doubt fuel your determination. Because deep down, you already know what you're capable of. You just need to believe it, and more importantly, act on it. Stop holding yourself back. Stop playing small. Stop settling for less than you deserve. This is your time to step up, to take control, to become the person you were meant to be. It won't be easy. It won't be quick. But it will be worth it. Because at the end of this journey, you won't just have success. You'll have growth, strength, confidence, and a life that you built on your own terms. And that is something no one can take away from you. Now comes the part most people never talk about, the quiet phase. The phase where nothing looks exciting, nothing feels dramatic, and there's no applause. This is where you're working in silence, improving. In small ways, repeating routines, and staying committed even when it feels like nothing is changing. This phase is not a setback. It's the foundation. Because real growth is not loud. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens in the background, in your daily discipline, in your ability to stay focused when everything around you is trying to pull you away. This is where your character is built. This is where your future is decided. You have to understand that distractions will always exist. There will always be something trying to steal your time. Social media, negative people, comfort, laziness, overthinking. And if you're not careful, these small distractions will slowly destroy your big dreams. That's why focusing on yourself requires awareness. You must become conscious of where your time is going. Ask yourself daily, is this helping me grow, or is it holding me back? Because every hour matters. Every choice matters. And over time, those choices define your life. Another truth you need to accept is this: you won't always feel motivated. There will be days when you feel tired, unproductive, and even lost. But that's normal. Motivation is temporary, comes and goes. Discipline, however, is what stays. Discipline is what carries you through the days when you don't feel like showing up. It's what keeps you moving when your mind is full of excuses. And the more you rely on discipline instead of motivation, the stronger you become. Because now you're no longer controlled by your emotions, you're guided by your purpose. Focusing on yourself also means letting go of the need for constant validation. You don't need people to clap for you. You don't need approval to chase your goals. In fact, the more you depend on validation, the more power you give away. True confidence is built internally. It comes from knowing that you're doing the work, staying consistent, and becoming better every day. Even if no one sees it, even if no one acknowledges it. Because at the end of the day, you're not doing this for them, you're doing this for you. There will also be moments when your past tries to pull you back. Old habits, old patterns, old mindsets, they don't disappear overnight. They will try to creep back into your life, especially when you're tired or stressed. But this is where your awareness becomes your strength. You have to catch yourself. You have to remind yourself why you started. You have to choose differently even when it's hard. Because every time you break an old pattern, you step closer to the person you're becoming. And let's not ignore the importance of patience. In a world that wants everything instantly, patience has become rare. But the truth is, anything meaningful takes time. You can't rush growth. You can't skip the process. And if you try to, you'll only end up frustrated. Instead, learn to trust the journey. Learn to embrace the slow progress. Because slow progress is still progress. And consistency over time will always beat short bursts of effort. At some point, you'll start noticing changes not just in your results but in your mindset. The way you think, the way you react, the way you handle challenges, it all starts to evolve. You become calmer under pressure. You become more focused. You stop overreacting to small problems. And most importantly, you start believing in yourself on a deeper level. This is the real transformation. Not just external success, but internal growth. You'll also begin to understand the power of saying no. No to distractions. No to things that don't align with your goals. No to environments that drain your energy. This is not about being rude or distant. It's about being intentional. Every no you say to the wrong things is a yes to the right things. And the more selective you become with your time and energy, the faster you grow. Focusing on yourself also teaches you resilience. Life will not always go according to plan. There will be setbacks, failures, and unexpected challenges. But instead of breaking you, these moments will build you, if you let them. Every setback carries a lesson. Every failure carries growth. And when you learn to see challenges as opportunities instead of obstacles, you become unstoppable. Because now, nothing can keep you down for long. Another important shift happens when you stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to lose focus. Because you start measuring your progress against someone else's journey. A journey you don't fully understand. Everyone has a different path, a different timeline, a different struggle. Instead of looking at others, look at yourself. Are you better than you were yesterday? Are you improving even slightly? That's what matters. Because your only competition is who you were before. As you continue, you'll realize that focusing on yourself is not just about achieving goals. It's about becoming a better human being. More disciplined, more aware, more intentional. It's about building a life that reflects your values, your vision, and your purpose. And that kind of life doesn't just happen. You create it, step by step, decision by decision. There will be sacrifices. You may have to give up comfort, entertainment, and even certain relationships. But understand this, every sacrifice you make for your growth is an investment in your future. And unlike temporary pleasures, this investment pays off for a lifetime. Because you're not just building success, you're building yourself. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll look back and see how far you've come. The person you used to be, the doubts, the fears, the habits, they won't have the same hold on you anymore. You'll feel stronger, more confident, more in control. And that's when it hits you, you did this. Not luck, not chance, but your own decisions, your own discipline, your own focus. So keep going. Even when it's hard. Even when it's slow. Even when it feels like no one notices. Because every step you take is shaping your future. Every effort you make is building your identity. And every moment you choose to focus on yourself, you are becoming someone greater than you ever imagined. This is your journey, your responsibility, your opportunity. And if you stay committed, if you stay disciplined, if you stay focused, there is absolutely nothing that can stop you from becoming the best version of yourself.